What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Claudio Alegre, and welcome to episode 14, season 3 of The Daily Pill, a webcast sponsored by our parent company, Angel Home Care Services, providing direct care and advice and consultations to families in mostly in the Dade County area around about their families regarding their convalescent needs and all that good stuff. Uh, so right now, while it's fresh in your mind, I want you to go to angelhomecareservices.net, and you're going to see this a button that's going to take you to this booklet, which is how to have your elderly parents properly cared for without going broke in the process. 35 pages on exactly that topic. It's free. Go over there, grab it if you want it. Get to the site, angelhomecareservices.net. Click the red button right on the banner. It'll take you to a page. Just put your email there and just grab it. It's yours if you want it. So, family caregivers, if there's anything that family caregivers need and more like want, is to be super organized and to have more time in the day and to be able to not go pretty much crazy, right? And so in light of that, that's all fixed with tools and hacks and strategies. And so today I thought that I would invite Jocelyn Strauss. Did I pronounce that correctly, Jocelyn?
Jacqueline Strauss, but close.
Jacqueline.
I go by anything. You can call me whatever you want.
Awesome. All right. So Jackie, okay? I mean, you go by Jackie or Jacqueline?
Ooh, I prefer Jacqueline. I'll go by Jackie. It's a Miami thing. Jackie, that's fine.
All right.
I answer to it.
All right. So Jacqueline is a mid-level executive for a Fortune. She's a CPA, who's at a mid-level executive for a Fortune 100 company with. She has multiple passions. She's the founder of her own company called My Macro Memoir, which is what we're going to talk about today. And she has become a leading efficiency expert by putting her skills and knowledge to work and creating a secure place for families to digitally organize themselves and pretty much have all the thinking done for them. Jacqueline leads with her heart in all that she does and has a passion to serve the greater good and her local community and beyond, which is why we connected right away and which is why we are going to do great things together, hopefully in the future. Jacqueline, welcome. Thank you for taking the time. I know you're super busy. You're doing 1,000 things at once. On top of that, you're a very devoted mom. And, we can tell by your background that you are pretty much hiding somewhere so that people don't find you. Oh, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. Absolutely. This is my office, and that is my compilation of my 9-year-old and 6-year-old's artwork over the years. So thank you so much for having me. It is nothing short of an honor. As I stated, or as you stated in my bio, I have a deep passion for serving my community and the greater good. And that is what My Macro Memoir is all about. I had a vision that was created by a personal need that I had. So I am a daughter, and the sad reality that we all have to face is that as we get older, our parents age as well. And so with that, we know that there does come responsibility with that. And we want to be able to give that in the most authentic, caring, and loving ways with not it feeling like a burden. And then certainly after our parents pass or when anybody passes, because we know it's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when, that we're not left searching through piles of paperwork, trying to find the answers to things that could have just been organized had we prepared and been proactive. So I am my household's CFO, given that I am a CPA. That was the natural evolution as to what I would roll into here. As you mentioned, and I showed you my artwork, I'm a mom. So I'm the house director, activities director, camp director, pet mom, you name it, I do it. It wasn't until I had a near-death experience myself in which I discovered a post-delivery hemorrhage after the birth of my second daughter. both my parents and my spouse were sat down by the physicians, basically letting them know that I would not be coming home with them, that I was not going to come home and make it out alive. Luckily, I was given a second chance. And it was this crazy experience that I never knew really what I believed in, but what I do know is that moments before I opened my eyes, I saw myself saying, I don't want to go, I'm not ready. And seconds later, my eyes were opened, and after 3 days in the ICU, I was able to go home and be the mom and build my strength back up. And what I realized in that reflection was because I managed so many things, so much of it was in my head, in my filing cabinet, in my desk drawer, an organized mess for me. Being a CPA, I'm a very type A personality. So I knew, and I've got everything under control. But the fact of the matter is I did nobody a service by being the keeper of all of this information. Because had I not been granted that second chance, my husband and my parents would have been left with an absolute nightmare on top of the nightmare of not having me here physically. So I sat down and I said, I have got to get it together. So I sat in this very office 3 years ago, and I tried really hard, but I did not know where to begin. I was absolutely paralyzed. Certainly there are amazing technical tools out there. There's Dropbox, there's Google Drive, there are checklists online. Various investment, houses and financial advisors give you digital vaults or digital safes, but they don't give you guidance as to what the heck to put in there. What is anything and everything from my favorite recipe that I might want to pass down to, do you have a pet? Do you even have a bank account? What are all the questions that I should consider that may be relevant to me? They're not going to be relevant to everybody, and that's why they're set up in a yes or no format only. Simple and stupid was my mantra as I went to develop this thing, but it was a lot harder than I thought to stay simple and stupid. In the end, I'm proud to say that I've launched a service that is simple but not stupid. It's something that I've gotten feedback from so many already that it's providing them peace of mind like they've never had before or never realized that they truly needed. And they're actually showing an act of love to the person closest to them that they're nominating as their confidant to access this information when they're no longer here.
Yeah, and I noticed, I know that's, wow, that's a powerful story. I didn't know that, even though we've just recently met. So I'm very happy that you are well, and that experience, all those experiences shape us, in one way or another. I went through something similar when I was 45 years old. Not as serious as yours, but it definitely shook my basement. One of the things that I know that, when we first met, that you told me about the tool, about my macro memoir, was that you wanted, from a technical standpoint, you didn't want it to be on the cloud, which is why, one of the things I noticed right away is a great synergy between safety and convenience, right?
Yes.
Mostly privacy, right? That's the safety I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
But I signed on, I went through it, right? It's usually when you're trying to make something super safe, you got to, hop over a few, hurdles, but it's totally worth it, right? And my experience was not complicated, but now once I was in there, everything's very well organized, and I was able to, it's like everything. The format, I saw that it made me think about what I needed to do just by looking at the UX, the aspect of how user friendly is it. So, but it's very well laid out. You have your checklists, yes, right, on each section, and then you start with your checklist, and then you can print that, right, and take it with you if you want, and just like one by one, right? Do I have this? Do I have this? Do I have this? Do I have this? And then but I thought right away about caregivers because, mom and dad, they don't have to be gone yet. right?
Nope.
But maybe they're not managing that right now. Someone with power of attorney or healthcare surrogate or whoever it is
Yes.
has access to these documents when you need them the most. Because what you don't want is to start looking for things at the time where you shouldn't be looking for anything.
Yes.
You know,
and
it should be.
Yeah, that, Claudio, brings up something that my family experienced during COVID. My grandmother is 101. We
Wow.
are so lucky. But at the time, she was 100. And she was found on the floor in her apartment, unconscious by her neighbor. My grandmother always resisted having in-home care help. As much as we fought with her, she said that was for old people. I'm like, Grandma, you're 100, you're old. Like, you got the medal, you made it, but she still resisted. Now it's a different story. We have full-time help, which is so very needed. So her neighbor found her, thank God. First thing she did was call 911. The second call was to my father. And my grandmother has 4 boys, my dad being the eldest and living the closest proximity to her, which was 40 minutes away. And immediately it was a suspected stroke, is what the doctor said. And so they asked my dad for one thing, one very simple thing. Can you please give us a list of medications that she's on? And he did not have that. So he got in the car, panicked. Granted, this was in the middle of the pandemic, so it was like even worse. Yep. Drove 40 minutes, which was a complete blur, as he explains it now, to have to search for a Post-it note that my grandma had her medications listed on.
Great.
And had they had just been stored in her memoir, which of course at 100, she would not be able to do. Okay.
Right.
I would have helped her with her memoir. My dad would have. Let's all be real here. Okay.
Sure.
But it would have been there. My dad would have been able to sign on and give the doctor the answers without that horrible experience. Thank God she made it, because no matter what, I was going to make sure my grandma was going to make it to that 101 milestone, and she did. But the process of that was a real, real eye-opener. And as a result, my parents, my mom is about to turn 70. I hope she's not watching this because she'll be really mad that I just shared her age. And my dad is approaching his mid-70s. It actually encouraged them to write their memoir. And as their daughter, whether I developed this product or not, I felt a sense of relief. I have a brother, but he's not going to do anything. Now I know how I can help my parents without having to search and not take away huge amounts of time from the family that I have and the 2 kids that I'm trying to raise and the business that I'm trying to run.
Right. One of the things that I liked about it was the fact that, just like almost any other tool, right? Efficiency, or, any tool that allows you to organize your life, it doesn't really, you never really stop. It doesn't really end, right? It's just you get to one section but then there are other areas that you're either replacing old information with new information, or there are areas that you still need to fill up, because that's like, and I think that's where maybe the word memoir came in, rather than just an organizer.
That's right.
Okay,
that's right. Things change. We evolve over time. Yeah. I don't care at what stage of your life. And I'm under the strong belief that people like options. End of story. And so for my mom, let's go back to her. My mom is old school. She has a sheet of paper with her usernames and passwords. And rather, she doesn't have the comfort level to upload things to the cloud. She just doesn't want to do that. And that's okay. And I anticipated people wouldn't feel comfortable. So I wanted an option. What is that option? My mom was able to go type in free text. I keep the sheet of paper with my passwords in my nightstand. And let me tell you, that's not just for my benefit when my mom's not here. My mom forgets things. She hides things. She likes to blame me, blame other people. It's like a personal memory assistant. no matter what age we are, we're all moving a mile a minute. It would be really nice to have somewhere just to kind of log that. So when you do go to look for it and you can't find it and you want to like be quick to blame somebody else, you can check yourself. It's happened to me with my engagement ring, and there was no way I was going to admit it to my husband at all. So for 2 weeks, I was tearing the house apart when he wasn't here to find the ring. And it was exactly where I left it. It was hidden really well from myself.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
so that's one of the questions. Do you have any secret hiding spots? And people are like, what does that mean? That's kind of an interesting question. And it's like, we all kind of have, jewelry, cash, other guns, whatever I don't care what it is. You've got options. The other thing is there's nothing that's required. So if you don't want to type in your social security number, fantastic. Don't want to know what your bank account balances are. Don't want to know the value of your life insurance. It's only yes or no. Do you have this? Yes or no? Okay, where is it? So essentially, where are the breadcrumbs? High level, where can I find them? I don't want to search. End of story.
Yeah, no, I love the taxonomy. I love the way that you structure the whole thing. It was very well thought out, because even after I was looking for the Met list, and I would think that there would be a box with it. And then you told me, no, that's under your personal stuff. So you need to go to your personal stuff and you see it there. And I go, that makes sense. So tell us, okay, so how do we, so you onboard yourself, right? You sign on.
Yeah.
And then what happens after you start playing with it, you start using it, right? Is there a cost to the software? Okay. Yes, how does that work?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I am under and stand by that anybody that realizes that they have a need for this, I did not want cost to be a barrier. So with that, it is $75 a year for the service. You will have access, portability. So if you're traveling, and my biggest fear is losing my passport or my license and not being able to get home, you could have it right in your memoir. I don't know that they would let you fly back with that, but at least it would be a starting point, because I promise I don't have those numbers memorized at all, but I definitely fear that happening. So for $75 a year, as long as your account is active, you can access it, update it, change it. The other thing I want to point out is that every question that somebody answers populates into its own PDF document. So for example, cool. If I'm out of town on business and God forbid something happened to my dog, my husband, of course, would text me and be like, where's the vet? Who's the vet? Do we have insurance? What's the insurance policy for the dog? And ask those questions. So instead of me taking my phone out, putting everything together and texting in the middle of a business meeting, I go to my memoir. There's a question that says, do you have a pet? Yes or no? All of that information is now there in that one PDF on just the pet. I'll send that. I don't want a PDF of everything in my memoir at once, because I want to be able to use it as things come up in my life to be more efficient.
That is awesome, because I when my wife is gonna go away, I turn into, like, I go with the same question. Where is the vet? What do I do with the dog? And what, I start asking questions like I'm a caveman, because I don't pay attention to those things. But if I had something that is just printed, boom, is there, I could totally use that, because I just don't want to think about that. That's right. What I'm looking to do. I'm just looking to bypass all that without any incidents. That's the whole thing. So, and by the way, no credit card required.
No.
When you're signing on, and then basically it automatically clicks in if you want it at the 30-day mark.
It was 30 days. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So then after that, you choose to stay on or not to stay on.
Yep.
I'm not at that point yet, so I'm gonna grab it. So it doesn't really matter on my end, but it automatically gives you the choice to. I guess you get prompted via email or text.
It'll prompt you to subscribe. And I will tell you, the feature of being able to take your PDFs with you is not active during the trial period. That's the only feature that's not active. You've got to be a paid subscriber to have that feature. And once you are paid, you get that. I do want to stress two things. When I built this, security and time is money were my two pillars. Security is so important. We know that even the government has been hacked, right? So it is not impossible. None of us are completely immune to it. But I am very, very comfortable with all the security measures in place. I invested heavily in that. Military grade encryption. I have the information spread out in data chunking is the technical term among multiple servers. So if one server is compromised, they will get a piece of a document that's encrypted and doesn't make sense anyway. I'm a CPA. I did an internal controls assessment. My husband is an attorney and had a number of years as a prosecutor working in a lot with cyber crime. He drove me nuts on this, but in a really, really good way. And so I'm very comfortable. We're constantly monitoring it and ensuring that we have the best security measures in place. Two-factor authentication is offered. You can turn it off. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's definitely your choice. I say people like options. The other thing is time is money. Yes or no answer. I'll answer. Other than that, don't ask me because I don't have time.
That's cool. That's rad. That level of security, and that's what we need. You know, we want to make sure that our information. I think that we're becoming less and less neurotic about that. It's inevitable, but it's important. It's nonetheless it's important. So I think what we need to do is one of the things I think maybe you and I maybe in a few days we'll jump on and we actually do like a Zoom where you can actually take us through the software, right? And we can do that right. We can do that right here. Today, I think that is just a great intro. Thank you for taking the time. Let me ask you something. If people needed to get with you and find you, I know we're peppering your information all over the place down here, but just tell us what's the easiest way to get with you right now if somebody wanted to talk to you about this.
Absolutely. So you can go to the website at mymacromemoir.com, scroll down the contact us. There's a link to my Calendly. If you wanted to put time on the books to actually chat with me, I'd be happy to do so. You can also email me at support@mymacromemoir.com. I'm the one checking them. It's me. So just know that that's the best way to reach me. And I promise to get back to you as soon as possible.
Great. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. I got it right this time. Okay. Thank you so much for being here and taking the time. Let's link up after, don't go away now when we sign off so that we see we can set up something, because I'm really like, when products like yours, it's awesome to take people through an actual live demo. And I'm sure you have one already, but so because I think that brings an entirely different viewpoint on how easy it is to actually deploy it. So well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. There you have it, everybody. I hope you enjoy the show. I'm going to see you next Wednesday. We have an awesome guest next Wednesday. Also on the tech side of the equation for family caregivers, it's going to be great. I'm going to be putting up, I'm going to be sharing a little bit of information about it in the next coming days right here on our Facebook page. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.